In the vast Masai Mara National Park in Africa, there lives a brave lioness and her young cub. The lions here are usually very united and protect each other. However, due to internal conflicts, this lioness decided to separate from the pride and take her cub away. She always wanted to find a safe place, away from conflicts with other lions. Although she knew that leaving the pride meant it would be difficult to hunt, the mother lion still chose a solitary life to protect her cub. The small innocent lion cub trusted her mother and happily followed her wandering footsteps. The mother and cub roamed the grasslands, looking for food and shelter every day. Despite the lack of support from the pride, the mother lion was still resilient and devoted, hunting to feed her cub. When the lion cub was tired, the mother lion patted and licked it to reassure it. For the mother lion, her cub was everything. As the weeks passed, the mother and her cub seemed to have found a quiet corner of the savannah. This place rarely saw male lions, which made the mother lion feel more secure. Every morning, they walked together on the golden grassland under the blue sky. The cub jumped around, chasing tiny insects among the grass. Occasionally, it rolled on the ground, teasing its mother's tail. The mother lion always followed its every move, ready to protect it if there was a threat. The sacred maternal love made the mother lion never regret giving up the safety of the herd. Even though she knew that life alone would be difficult, she never wavered. In the harsh wild world, the mother lion's courage and love for her cub gave her strength. Every day was a battle for her, but seeing her cub grow up healthy was boundless happiness. One fine day when the morning sun shone across the grassland, a mother and her cub were strolling near a small stream. The gentle breeze caressed their golden fur, creating a peaceful scene. The lion cub happily wandered around, exploring the sounds and scents of the flowers and grass. Not far away there was a strange object that made the lion cub curious. It was an abandoned iron cage, seemingly left there by someone a long time ago. The mother lion stood vigilantly behind, not taking her eyes off her cub. The lion cub crept closer to the cage, sniffing and sniffing everywhere. Curiosity arose. It scratched the iron bars with its claws, making a clanging sound. In a split second, the lion cub suddenly stepped into the cage, causing the cage door to slam shut. The mother lion immediately roared in panic and ran to her cub. The lion cub struggled inside, scared and made weak cries. The mother lion scratched at the iron bars with her claws, but the cage remained motionless. It bit the iron bars, trying to bend them, but the metal was too sturdy. The mother lion's roar echoed throughout the grassland, expressing her helplessness and pain. For 3 hours, the mother lion was still frantically trying to save her cub from the iron trap. The cub was tired, breathing heavily, her eyes filled with tears as she looked at her mother. Fear made her tremble, but she still clung to the iron bars, calling for her mother. The mother lion was frustrated, growling around the cage, but there was no solution. The sky began to turn grey, signaling the approaching dusk. In desperation, the mother lion softly groaned, as if calling for help from somewhere. This situation did not escape the eyes of the rangers patrolling the area. 2 Masai Mara National Park staff, Kofi and Abel, were on their way to check the poachers' traps. They quickly noticed something unusual. A lioness was constantly moving around a cage. Kofi looked through his binoculars and saw a lion cub inside the cage. Abel let out a small cry of worry, knowing that the poachers would most likely come back to get their prey. Time was running out as the sky was starting to turn to dusk. The two discussed a rescue plan, but they couldn't return to the center to get the anesthetic because the distance waited until the next morning. The cub might be taken away. Kofi and Abel decided to move closer to find a way to open the trap, despite the imminent danger. They drove close to metal cutting tools they brought with them. The mother lion reacted violently, roaring loudly when she saw the car approaching. Kofi and Abel had to be very careful. They waved their hands gently and said, The mother lion's eyes were still full of vigilance, but she also sensed something in these two people. No one dared to approach a stressed lioness unless they really wanted to help. Finally, The mother lion slowly took half a step back, but still placed one foot on the cage as if she was afraid it would be taken away. The lion cub inside looked out, its eyes begging for release. Abel held the stick tightly in his hand, just in case the lioness suddenly attacked. Kofi carefully started the cutter. The shrill sound made the lioness startled slightly. He bent down, checked the iron bars, choosing the safest place to cut open. Time passed tensely. Each cut was a ray of hope for the lion cub's freedom. The heat from the cutter caused a little smoke to rise. The smell of burnt metal spread around. The lioness hissed softly in her throat, but still stood still, seemingly understanding that Kofi did not want to harm her cub. Abel's forehead was covered in sweat, constantly keeping an eye on the lioness's reaction. He prepared his stance, ready to retreat if the lioness became aggressive. Little by little, Kofi skillfully cut the weld, creating a hole large enough for the lion cub to escape. After about 15 tense minutes, the metal door finally opened. The lion cub quickly crouched down and crawled out, trembling but extremely happy. The mother lion immediately approached, bowed her head and licked her cub's forehead, as if to check if she was still intact. The mother lion's roar became softer, carrying an indescribable gratitude. Kofi and Abel put down the cutter, breathed a sigh of relief, and smiled happily when they saw that the mother and cub had been reunited. The mother and cub clung to each other. The lion cub snuggled into its mother's belly for warmth. The tense, suspenseful moments were now replaced by peace. Kofi gently backed away, not daring to make any more noise or sudden actions. Abel gently put down his stick, then signaled his companion to prepare to return. They did not want to disturb the mother and cub for too long, fearing that they would continue to panic. The mother lion turned her head to look at the two men, her eyes shining with gratitude. For a moment, it seemed that there was no longer any distance between humans and wild animals. A second later, the mother lion took a step forward, leading her cub deeper into the grassland, looking for a safer place. The cub occasionally looked back, as if wanting to miss the people who saved it. In the middle of the vast grassland, the silhouettes of mother and cub gradually disappeared behind the tall grass. Kofi and Abel exhaled simultaneously, the heavy feeling on their chests finally disappearing. They looked towards the broken iron cage, realizing that part of their mission had been completed. The poachers would not be able to use this trap to catch other animals again. Kofi suggested taking the cage back and handing it over to the management as evidence to denounce the illegal act. Abel agreed. They quickly pulled the cage onto the car, taking care not to leave any traces. As the sun slowly set, the two of them drove back to the ranger station, filled with relief and pride. Today's patrol had shown them the profound meaning of protecting wildlife. They understood that with just a little effort from each person, precious creatures like the mother and cubs could be saved. Although the fight against poaching continues tomorrow, they believe that love will always win. In Masai Mara National Park, the story of the mother and cubs and the two brave rangers will forever be remembered as a symbol of hope and compassion. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.